LegacyMaker, the all sports network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
So you're giving it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. because he piggybacked off of his dad's name. The only difference was because there was a junior at the end and not a senior.
Yes, and
Okay.
because the fact is, Drew.
Point with, oh my God! I had Miami Heat winning last night. I was upset too when they lost. This with you because of the fact of what you.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out sports debate with your hosts,
Mr. Controversy himself, Raphael Haynes of the three-point conversion,
and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 48 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special guest. He is from the three-point conversion, a guy who definitely has his hands into a lot of different things, very busy. You could definitely check him out on their social media handles. He is Mr. Controversy himself, Raphael Haynes. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. Just up here in the In or Out Sports Debate. We are almost at 50 episodes, staying busy ourselves here. So here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network, you guys set the bar for us. We're just trying to make it look like we're there with you, just to be like a brotherly company to kind of help you guys out, just say and vice versa. So thank you for all you've done for us as well.
No, appreciate it. I'm glad you had me on here, man. You know, Legacy Sports, that's family right there. So I'm with you.
Definitely. And with that, speaking of that, definitely have to give shout out to the handles that we have here as well. You can check out LegacyMaker Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn, coming soon, TikTok. But always check out the LegacyMakerSportsNetwork.com when you can check out the latest when it comes to our articles and such as videos. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch. You can find the In or Out Sports Debate on as well. And the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can also download on iTunes. We are on the back half of Double Debate Tuesday with episode 48. Episode 47 was earlier today with Cole Johnson, but right now I'm with Raphael Haynes of the three-point conversion. And with that being said, you know, take a minute or so and tell us a little bit about the three-point conversion for those out there who haven't seen you guys yet.
So first of all, let me do it right. Did you miss me? Yeah, man, it's Mr. Controversy here, man. First of all, like I said, glad to be here. But the three-point conversion is a sports media company. We are, man, almost everywhere. We cover everything from now PGA Tour to NCAA, basketball, football, NFL, NBA, WNBA, so much. But either or, man, you can follow us at all social media platforms. Look up the three-point conversion or at 3PTCNVRSN. And I'm also subscribed to our YouTube channel, the three-point conversion YouTube channel. And check out our radio show every Saturday morning from 10 to 12, 10 Eastern in the morning to 12 p.m. Eastern. We're on 1100 a.m. WWWE in Atlanta, Georgia, or you can check us out on the Three-Point Conversion Facebook channel. We're streaming live on the threepointconversion.com, which is our website. We're streaming live as well. Plus with articles, updates, exclusive interviews, pressers, we do it all. So check us out.
Definitely, you guys do a great job, and we've definitely been a part of those, journeys with you over the past years with LegacyMaker Sports. We just hit our 5-year anniversary. I know you guys have set the bar for us and have got it a little bit longer, but 5 years, and it goes so fast, man. When you're staying busy out there with everything we've got going on, especially with the pandemic and the craziness that we had in 2020, for the past couple of years. Darrell and I were just talking about it last night. You hold on to football tight because just like in a flat snap of a finger, it can be gone and you just don't know what you're going to do with that extra time that you have. Of course, we made the best of it. We're all still here. We didn't go nuts. Right. But the point is that we just don't want to take advantage of it anymore. We got to cherish it for all it's at. Week 1 just happened, and we've got some football to talk about with this episode as well. But first, let's stay within Atlanta with round one. Let's talk about some Atlanta Braves baseball.
Round one.
And with round one, the reigning, defending champion Atlanta Braves should be humbled as a result of their near 5-month journey to battle for the NL East lead. How do you feel about this, Raphael? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I should be out because we lost the lead. Well, not we, but the Braves lost the lead. I'm talking about Atlanta. I'm not a Braves fan. I'm a Cubs fan. So, but I'm in. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna say out. I'm gonna change it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna change it out. The reason why I'm gonna change it out is because change it to out. They're the world champs. Why do they have to be humbled? They won it last year. Why do the Braves have to be humbled if they won it last year? Then, like most Braves fans say, most MLB fans say, the Mets were going to Met, which they have. Now, the Mets, they got the lead now, but I think the Braves are maybe a game and a half out. But still, I mean, if it took 5 months and they knew what was going to happen, why wouldn't you go crazy? Why would you be humble? No, this is competition, man. We're battling. They're our foe. Well, I'm going to be humble. Well, I'm going to say, you know what? We're here. We're going to act like we've been. No. Yeah, we knew we was going to take over the division. We knew the Mets was going to Met. That's what they do. This is what we do. Yeah, why be humble? I don't get it.
Man, I disagree. I'm in. Come on, man. Whether you're a fan of the Braves or not, come on, man. Let me take it to myself for a second. So when it comes to this, the NL East divisional lead is a game and a half. The Braves are the reigning, defending champions here. They are back by a game and a half. For 5 months, they have been battling the Mets to try to get that lead back that they haven't had since April. You are the reigning, defending champions. Of course, you should be humbled. You had the lead last week for like all of 72 hours. Then you gave it back up. So, yes, you've been climbing for 5 months. You get there, then now you're back a game and a half, and you were 3 games out for the longest time. Now you're already got that deficit back a game and a half, which is half of that. You're going to be fighting for the next 3 weeks to get back to even again, and you're not going to get there. You're going to be the wild card team. So, yes, you should be humbled because you're the reigning defending champions, basically fighting for positioning now. And you're not going in there just like the Mets have been touted all season to be the greatest team in the NL. Or not the greatest team in the NL, but of the NL East. So when it comes to that being said, yes, I feel like they're humbled because that 5-month journey, man. Reigning defending champions shouldn't be doing that for 5 months.
Drew, listen, they still have one more series left against the Mets. That's all that matters. So whether the Braves lose 3 games here, even if the Mets lose 2 games there, it doesn't matter. It comes down to this series. The Braves feel like they can beat the Mets when it counts. I mean, the Mets had their best pitching staff, the best pitching pitchers besides DeGrom in the last series, and the Braves beat them.
True.
So,
but they've got a lot of divisional matchups this month. They've also got the Nationals and the Phillies, too, which will make a difference when it comes to that, too.
Stop it. The Nationals, I know they get Bryce Harper back, but the Nationals are the Nationals.
It's divisional standings, though. That makes an impact when it comes to playoff positioning, though, and it comes to standings stuff, too.
So you really think the Nationals are going to beat the Braves? Do you think they're going to beat the Mets?
No. But you've got the Phillies, though, and the Phillies are always a pain in the ass for all NL East teams, no matter if they're in last or worst or first. It doesn't matter.
But look, who's been the best team in baseball since the All-Star break? It's been the Braves.
I mean, the Yankees with Aaron Judge have been lifting them with the home run race.
After the All-Star break? No, they've been the worst team.
The home run race is what's been keeping them in first place.
Right, but the Yankees have lost more games than they won after the All-Star break. But the Braves have the most wins since the All-Star break. So why do the Braves need to be humble when they're the world champs? You win the championship to go. You can go. Now the Mets, you can't go because you haven't won anything yet. The Braves? Oh, we got a ring. We good. This is what we do. This is what y'all gonna do.
All right, I take my hat off to that, though. But I still feel like because it's a 5-month journey, as the champs, you shouldn't be fighting this hard to stay at the top or to stay towards the top of the standings. So I'm going to have to agree to disagree. Fans, help us out in the comments out here and see what you think and let us know what you think. Is it me or Mr. Raphael here? I don't know. He doesn't know. He thinks he knows. I think I know, but we could be both wrong. What do you think out there, fans? Because at the end of the day, it all matters what the fans think when it comes to this show. Now let's take this into round 2.
Round 2.
With round 2, the Chicago Bears' victory over the 49ers would not have transpired during normal weather circumstances. I know you wear that hat very proudly, and that's your team. So I got a feeling I know what you're going to say. What are you going to say? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm going to say stop it. Yes, I'm out. Come on, man. So you mean to tell me that now you say it was the weather that caused this? First of all, if you watch the game, it didn't start raining and pouring until the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes left when the Niners were down 9 points. Other than that, it wasn't raining. If it was light rain. The field, yes, it was water on the field, but it didn't cause anything. It didn't affect the game like that. No, man. I mean, come on. If the 49ers is the better team, and it's not like they were playing in the snow. It's not like it was cold. So it's no home field advantage because of the weather. No, you're playing in rain. Both teams. The 49ers is the better team. They have the better personnel, the better players, the superstars, where the Bears supposed to be this team that can't win. How was that helping the Bears? I don't get it. They're playing in the same weather, the same conditions. And then the conditions didn't do anything until when they were down by 9. That's when it started raining heavily. But other than that, when the game kicked off, no rain at all. I don't get it. So all I'm saying is they have this young quarterback, Trey Lance, who was drafted in the same year as Justin Fields. The better man won. How does the rain or weather change that? I don't get it.
I actually agree with you on this. I'm out on this as well. The Bears, I mean, I don't want to even really compare the preseason to this, but the Bears look great in preseason with what they did throughout that schedule that they had. They had the Chiefs. They even played the 49ers. They played the 49ers. They played the Chiefs. They've played the Seahawks, and they've played the Browns within this past month, and they've won all their games, even though it's barely against the Browns, and they still beat the Chiefs, in my opinion. You're playing scrubs. You're playing second and third string and guys that aren't even going to be on the team at this point in the year. However, I feel like that was the motivation that Justin Fields and this young team, this young Bears team needed against a 49ers team that has had a lot of back and forth drama in this offseason when it comes to Jimmy G, when it comes to Trey Lance, and who that starting quarterback is going to be. And we saw yesterday, or we saw firsthand on Sunday, the confidence issues within this team on both sides of the ball when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. The weather didn't have anything to do with it. These guys play in the snow. They play when it's downpour. But even though the game is more pussified now than it was 20 years ago when it comes to football and basketball with floppy LeBron and all of that stuff in general, when you put all that in perspective, they still would have. The weather has nothing to do with it. These guys play in harsher conditions when they're younger. It gets them primed for this spot, for this time in the NFL. They can handle a little bit of rain, a little slap on the ground. Come on, deal with it. I hate excuses. Just play the game.
Hey, I'll say this. You play the game to win, right? But you have to play the entire game. 49ers dominated the first half. Second half, the Bears just took over. The problem is, I think you have this young quarterback. It's going to take time for the 49ers. I don't care who they play. I don't care if they play a scrub team or they play a great team. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I don't know how many games the Bears are going to win. We need receivers. We need linemen. We need a lot of things to click. But at the same time, one thing about those Chicago Bears, just look out for them because they have that grit. Matt Eberflus came in, the new coach, and said, you know what? We're hustling, no loafing. We played to the whistle, and we're going to grind the whole entire game. And that's what happened. They played the entire game. So second half, they woke up. Next thing you know, no weather. It wasn't even raining. I don't know why. It didn't start raining until they were down by 9 with 4 minutes left. The game was a wrap then. Get over it.
Some people just throw things in the headlines just to get some attention. And with that's why it happened to be our round 2 topic. But the Bears earned that victory fair and square, and that's why I agree with our guy here. We're both out on this. With that being said, speaking of the 3-point conversion, we got some breaking news, brother. That breaking news is this. We announced earlier today, episode 49 will be next Monday at 8 o'clock p.m., but next Tuesday, episode 50 with Kyle Nash of the 3-point conversion will be here next Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern for episode 50. It's hard to believe, already at 50 episodes here on the In or Out Sports Debate. Thank all of you in the Vault of Fame, and especially right now with Mr. Controversy here to get us through to this point. With that being said, let's go ahead and take this into the next round in round 3.
Round 3.
Here with round 3, let's take this to college football. Bryce Young is the sole reason that led Alabama to victory over the Texas Longhorns this past weekend. How do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I am in. Come on. Man, if you watch that game, Alabama couldn't do anything. They were struggling, penalties. Like I thought I was watching, no offense, I thought I was watching Georgia Tech play. But came down to the fourth quarter. Now the defense stepped up, but still it was Young, because Young drove him down to get that field goal. Young drove him down before that when they turned the ball over, when I think they went for it on fourth down and didn't get it, the running back. But he drove him down the field that time, then drove him down for a field goal. And then the last drive we saw, I mean, you talk about somebody who did it with his feet. Not only did it with his arm, but did it with his brain, man. He was smart. He made smart decisions. He made the right play, made it at the right time. Like Saban said, we trust him. It was all Bryce. It was all Bryce. Of course, that play where the linebacker had a free shot at him and he broke the tackle by dunking. Come on. You don't see a lot of college players do that. That's a NFL veteran move right there. You know, we've seen people like Vic do it. We've seen maybe a Russell Wilson do it, Randall Cunningham, you know, and so on, Steve Young. But in college, you don't see it like that. Not when the game is on the line. And that was fourth down. So it was all Bryce.
You know, man, I disagree on this one. I'm out. You know, did he kick the field goals? Did he kick the field goals, man? He didn't kick the 2 field goals and the 2 extra points that they needed. So, no, he is not the sole reason if they won the game. Did he put them in position to win the game? Yes, he did. Was he the most valuable player of the game? Yes. Is he the sole reason that they won the game? No, because the last time I checked, he is not a George Blanda. He doesn't kick the field goals. So, no, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, let us know in the comments, fans. However, I am disagreeing here. He is not the sole reason. He is the 85.5% reason that they won, but he didn't kick the field goals.
Look, I'm going to concede. This is why. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, that kicker had no choice but to make that, or he was getting kicked. He was getting kicked off the team. You know, Saban was going to kick him off the team, so he had to make that field goal. But let me finish. What would have
happened if he would have missed?
Right. Oh yeah, you're right. But let me finish though. Let me say this though. After what happened in the NFL this week, I'm gonna agree with you, man, because we know for some reason, I guess it's not as easy to kick field goals like we thought it was, especially game winners. How many game winners did we see being missed?
Absolutely. And Matt Ryan and the Colts don't even get me started on that one right there with that game for one. But LSU, with LSU and how that game ended the first week with Brian Kelly, in special teams, kickers are people too. Kickers are people too, and they are part of the game. You got to have them for these clutch moments, and they had that in Alabama this past weekend. Did Bryce Young set them up? Was he the MVP? Of course, can't take it away from him. What he did in that game was huge. He was 27-39 for 213 yards and a touchdown. Didn't turn the ball over. Didn't give up any interceptions. Didn't fumble the ball as well. So when you look at all that and when you put that in perspective, he protected the ball. He was, at someone who is 21 years of age and born in this millennium. I don't trust anybody who's younger than age 1998 and younger. Other than that, if you're born before that, I'll give you a chance at quarterback, especially in the NFL. I don't trust anybody that's younger than 1995. So Pat Mahomes, you got my respect. Everybody else, Kenny Pickett's and all of you out there that are born in 98 and Herbert's out there, no, not yet. Haven't earned it yet. Get in line with the Josh Allens and the rest of you who finally earn my respect. But no, got to give it up to these guys. Got to give it up to Bryce Young here, and I got to give my hat off to somebody who was born in 2001.
2001?
Yeah.
Man, that's young, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's 21 years old.
But
I looked up earlier.
Like I said, though, man, he doesn't play like it. And that's the thing. He doesn't play like it. He won the Heisman last year, and he's showing that he's the real deal. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we talked about it. I talked about it last week on our show, and I was saying that I think CJ might be the better quarterback. But man, I don't. Nah, I think CJ's the most talented, but I gotta go Bryce Young. Bryce Young showed me something, and just the way he's composed. You know who he reminds me of? Honestly, his composure. He reminds me of a Jalen Hurts. How Jalen Hurts was just very composed when he was in Alabama. I mean, I know when they took him out, but even when he came the year before, when he lost to Deshaun Watson, his composure just. Never been in that position, and he took the lead for Alabama. Then he came back after they took him out. Then he came back the next year and stepped in for Tua. So his composure is what's most impressive. So I'm like you, hats off.
Yeah, they definitely did. They definitely pulled it off, and we could be having a different conversation had they not pulled it off this past weekend. They definitely did. It was a close one. 20-19 was that final score there, but Alabama did pull it off over the 21-ranked Texas Longhorns. With that being said, guys, we've gone through our halfway point of the show. Let's go ahead and take this into the comments from the fans and the Medial Mayhem. Shout out to the fans for commenting and starting out this show on fire. Thank you, guys. We got what's up, guys, from Derek Medea. Thanks for being here on YouTube, Derek. John Kimball says, yo. Vincent David Jackson follows that up with a yo on Facebook.
Yo.
Let's get it, my brother. Appreciate the comments, guys. Are we talking fantasy stalker tonight?
It's stupid.
Oh man. Braves suck now.
Well, I mean, I guess he's just saying like currently because they've lost 3 in a row. So I think I understand what you're saying, Derek. He was about to get a stopper from me, but I think he's just meaning like at this point, like currently they're sucking. I got you.
I think this clip from Dolomite says enough of how the Braves feel about this commentator. Read it.
Bitch, are you for real?
Absolutely. That's how they feel about you saying that to them. If the whole team were to read that right now, get it together, Derek. Don't be calling them out. Don't be a keyboard warrior. We ain't got time for that. Go Braves, says John Kimball. Fires back at Derek. All right. Well, at least somebody's giving him some love in this chat. Braves won't make the playoffs.
Can I do it?
Do it.
I'm about to hit it. I'm about to hit the button. Stop it.
Yeah, because Stephen A. Smith is probably saying this about what you got to say with this right now.
Stay off the weed.
Absolutely. And the Braves probably feel about this how Chris Jericho did back in the Attitude.
Would you please shut the hell up?
Absolutely. Lay off the Braves there, Derek. Give him a break. I'll start a pro wrestling career if they win the division.
Hey, I'm gonna remember this. Let me take my picture.
I'm gonna take that bet.
Screen.
Take that picture.
Yeah.
You got the picture?
Got you, Derek.
Well, you know who's gonna meet you in the ring? This guy right here.
You see, The Rock is going to take his boot.
Oh, no. Not the boot.
And then The Rock is going to turn it horizontal or sideways, just the way you like it, or so The Rock has heard.
Wait a minute.
And then, Kurt, in one swift motion, The Rock is going to take his boot and stick it straight up your candy ass!
You better watch what you wish for, Derek. Better watch it, because The Rock or maybe his daughter might be meeting you in the ring with that one. Who knows? I see that bet and raise it, Derek. Okay, John Kimball's getting in on the action right there. Bears won't make the playoffs.
Oh, we know that. Okay, that's cool. Well, Derek, who is your team? Put that later on so we can talk about your team.
Yeah, why don't you?
I might go in on your team. Who your NFL team?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're going to say this about your team.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Hey, Drew, what if his team, the Buffalo Bills?
Probably a bandwagoner. Yeah, he's a bandwagoner. If you like the Bills or the Chiefs, you just pick that team within the past 5 years. That's how
Vincent David Jackson, he's a Buffalo Bills fan, diehard.
Okay, well, if you've been this entire time and you were there for the ups and downs and the fluty flakes, then I'll give you a break with that. Because from once Jim Kelly left in '97 until the past like 4 or 5 years, they had a lot of heartache. So not as bad as my Washington, I guess you want to say now the Commanders or whatever. We'll get into that at some other time. I didn't even bring the topic up on this show. I didn't want to bring the party down with that talk. But when it comes to John Kimball says Bears will earn a wild card. Okay. He's giving love. Derek says they won't make the playoffs. Kimball says that he'll earn a wild card. I think with the look on your face, you don't want that bad juju. You'd rather just have low expectations with this. And then we'll see what happens at the end of the year. From the look on your face, that's what I read. So that's what I'm going to go with
I ain't mad at you, Derek.
Alabama is overhyped, he says.
Maybe. I mean, they haven't looked good all year. I mean, they struggled the first game in the first quarter. They only had like 3 points going with like 3 minutes left in the game. So I mean, 3 minutes left in the first quarter. So we'll see. I know Bryce not, but Alabama might be.
Well, here's my take on it, Derek. Alabama is overhyped.
What?
They're overhyped.
What?
I think they're overfunded because the NASCAR brand is got a contract with them and they are sponsors of the Alabama Crimson Tide. So maybe overfunded, but actually overhyped. I don't know, because they've been able to back it up with Nick Saban for quite some time now. So I got to give it up to Alabama. I don't say overhyped. I would say overfunded. So let's go with that. Bryce Young is the truth, says Derek. So, okay, at least you're coming back around, because we were a little worried about you for a second. So with that, I will definitely agree with that. We'll go with this. And our last comment before we go to the second half of the show. Bears are trash, says Danny Thompson. Your guy Danny Thompson comments with Bears are trash.
From a Falcons fan at that.
Damn!
Facts. Damn.
We'll see in November. Go ahead.
We'll see. We'll see in November. Right now, they're starting off strong, but the 49ers looked like they were trash. If you said 49ers are trash in comparison to what we were saying earlier, I would agree with that. Bears are trash. Nah, they don't earn that title yet. LeBron James is more trash than the Chicago Bears right now. So sorry. That's for you, Snowman and Cole. So that's for you guys. Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. They are absolute haters of LeBron James. So anyways, other than that, guys, we've gone through 3 rounds of this episode. Let's go ahead and take this into round 4 and talk about the By the Numbers segment.
Round 4.
And with round 4, Daryl Johnston is the greatest to ever wear the number 48 in all of sports history. How do you feel about this one, Mr. Controversy? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I am definitely out on this one. When I first heard this, the first thing I thought of, I took it as just athlete as far as like athletic, but when I read it now, and the greatest athlete, I was talking to someone earlier about this and we were talking about it. I had a couple of names I was thinking, because I wouldn't even put Daryl Johnston, and I understand the fact that he, blocked for Emmett and he created holes and he might have caught a few passes and he heard his name being chanted as Moose. That's it. I mean, you got people. I put Torrey Hunter over him. The greatest number 48, which I was told, and I agreed, is Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR champion, 7-time NASCAR Series Cup champion. Okay, Moose has 3. I get it, but nah, I'm good on that.
Okay. You actually stole the words out of my mouth with that. I'm going to disagree on this one too. I'm out as well. To add a little bit to what you were saying, add a little bit more depth to it. Jimmy Johnson began his career in the year 2000 and is just over a decade. In just over a decade, he became one of the most successful drivers of all time. He had 55 wins to this date today, 224 top 10 finishes, and in 2009, he was named Male Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press, the best one to ever wear the number 48. If I'm going to say that Richard Petty was the best at number 43, and to go with that, and to argue with that the entire time of this show, I've got to give love to NASCAR here with 48. Like you said with Torrey Hunter, that was a great standout pick right there. Torrey Hunter had an 18-year career with the Twins, Angels, Tigers, and then back again with the Twins, finished it off, but he wasn't a champion. When you look at Daryl Johnston, yeah, like you said, he was a 3-time Super Bowl champion, blocked for Emmett, also well known as a broadcaster as well. But when you really dive into it and you really think about the best to ever wear the number 48, sports, athletics, stock car racing is a sport. Jimmy Johnson is the best at 48.
You know what? I'm going to tell you another 48. I'll probably take over Moose. And like I said, I like Moose. Moose did what they asked him to do. So I don't know what else Moose could have done, because they asked him to solely block. That was it. Just block for Emmett. And it worked, right? It worked. Now, he blocked for running back Tommy Agee. He blocked for Chris Warren. He blocked for some other running backs who weren't successful. So we can't say it's all Daryl. You know what I'm saying? You had a great offensive line, but I might take Todd McNair. I don't know if y'all remember him, but Todd McNair, the fullback for Kansas City Chiefs, number 48, who could do it all. One of the first fullbacks that was catching out the backfield more than running, more than blocking. But he did everything. He blocked. He ran the ball. They put him as a sole back. Like I said, he caught. He was like one of the best catchers out the backfield, whether it was fullback or running back when he played. So I like Moose. I do. I like Moose, but nah.
I don't like the Cowboys, but I got to give respect and credit where it's due when it comes to Moose and to the number 48. However, Jimmy Johnson, 7 championships. You can't overlook it with that, and that's why we got to stick with that with this one. Guys, we do have a bonus round. Let's go ahead and check and see what we got for this bonus round in this topic.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Bonus round. With the bonus round, WNBA players should not be allowed to play internationally during the offseason as a result of the Brittney Griner debacle. With that being said, are you in or are you out on this one?
Hell no. I'm out. Yeah, I'm definitely out. So, if this is the case, that means WNBA players will get more money. That means the league will be funded more. They will get more notoriety. They will get more backing. That's not happening. So what do they have to do? Go out of the country to play, to earn more money. People don't understand. You have these. That's why I have so much respect for WNBA players. They're playing all year around. Like, they will leave. They will be done with the season, go overseas, play there, come back while the season has already started. Somebody already started, or in the middle of preseason, they'll come back and then they'll resume their play. But that's what they have to do to make money, to make a living for them and their family. So I love Brittney. I'm with Brittney, no doubt. But I mean, and I'm not saying it's her fault, but don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught with anything. Go up there. Don't give them an excuse to arrest you. And trust me, I'm not one of those ones who's like, well, it's her fault. No, I'm with Brittney. You know what I'm saying? I think she got set up, but at the same time, don't give them anything to have an excuse to detain you or whatever. But at the same time, we all know what's going on in Russia. You know what I'm saying? They caught Brittney because she's one of the biggest WNBA stars. You know, let's be real. Because she's black. Because she's a lesbian or however you want to call it. Because she plays in the WNBA. So they knew this is a polarizing star in the WNBA would get you. I promise you, if they sent just the WNBA player who played 10 minutes a game, she wouldn't be in Russia. I mean, yeah. They'll let her go. So it's a lot of semantics that go with that. But all I'm saying is, no, I cannot see them saying they should stay here and play for crumbs compared to what the NBA and everybody else is making in professional sports.
I mean, I see what you're saying as far as the stuff with the Brittney Griner case. I mean, there are parts of it that are definitely political. However, she did acknowledge that she was carrying it. It wasn't playing it on there.
Right.
So she knew that. So it's one of those things, like, she assumed the risk, right? Because she had it on her. However, I do agree with the fact that they are blowing this way out of proportion, because there's other people that were caught with like similar circumstances, and then were in there and out of there in like 2 months. They did time, but they were out of there in like 2 months. Once the whole process, they paid a hefty fine. She has money and can raise funds to pay these fines. They could let her go if they wanted to. However, I don't want to get too far into that topic, because we don't want to steer away from the main topic with this. WNBA players should not be allowed to play internationally during the offseason as a result of the Brittney Griner debacle. I've got to agree with Raphael on this too. I'm out on this as well. Like he said, I mean, you know, they don't get paid enough. They've got sponsors. They were one of the first sports that actually had like sponsors and stuff on their jerseys. And even with that, they still don't make enough money when it comes to that. Like, NBA now has sponsors, and they're getting paid a lot more money, which is kind of a slap in the face of the WNBA, who was one of the first ones to start, you know, representing advertisements for money. So when you put that in perspective, you got someone like Sue Bird that just retired after a 20-year career. And when you look at her career, even though she spent the entire time with the Seattle Storm in the WNBA, she played internationally for 10 years as well, 10, 11 years as well. So to get that money, to earn her money before she, you know, made some other business ventures outside of basketball, and can now not have to worry about having to play basketball full time, which is what she's been focusing on in the past 8 years. Not everybody has that luxury. Not everybody has the same type of college education to fall back on, the same type of opportunities, whether it be political or not. Let's just face it, out here in these streets, it's dog-eat-dog world in certain aspects, in a lot of aspects. Some aspects, no, but in a lot of aspects it is, especially when it comes to sports, especially when it comes to the game of sports. So money is harsh out there for the WNBA. It has always been like that, and at least for the next decade or so, with the recent agreements that they've had over the years to set up the players' collective bargaining agreement, there's not going to be any change anytime soon with how they get paid because of that reason alone, for one. And two, there needs to be more fan interest and more advertising too, because when we get to the WNBA finals, we barely hear anything about it before we even get to the finals. Then all of a sudden it's the WNBA finals. Well, nobody was really advertising it except for like the lower networks like ourselves that are under like not ESPN status, but we're the ones who are blowing up WNBA. But on the higher networks on cable TV, we're not really seeing it blown up too much, and it's always been that way when it comes to WNBA.
And I was going to say, you said fanfare, and they're like some of those places, they're like superstars, like real superstars there. So there's not a lot of people watching the game. And then think about it, they're playing. They have to play during. This is the finals, and the finals started on kickoff Sunday. Who you think watching that game? And then they got to play on Thursday night game, Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Chargers. Then Saturday, college football. Like, yeah, I mean, I would go out there too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You can only go with what you see. It's what they put in front of you. You're definitely going to, kind of gravitate towards when it comes to that stuff, especially with what they advertise out here. With that, we've gone through the 4 rounds, the bonus round. We've got one more left in the final round. Let's see what that is.
Final round.
And with the final round, the Atlanta Hawks should be concerned as a result of the moves within the Eastern Conference this offseason. How do you feel about this one, man? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm out. I'm going to tell you why I'm out, y'all. Hawks ain't have a chance to win the championship anyway, so why should they be concerned? But we have to remember that they added somebody as well. As a matter of fact, I think if he would have been a free agent, he would have been the hottest free agent. Matter of fact, he would have been the hottest player just during the offseason if it wasn't for Kevin Durant or maybe Kyrie Irving, which I don't know if a lot of teams wanted Kyrie Irving anyway. But I'm talking about DeJounte Murray, who's with the Hawks. So you get the one of the top perimeter premier defenders. Then you got someone who could take over a game, whether scoring or assist. He rebounds as well. He plays along with Trae Young. So now Trae Young doesn't have to do anything, or do everything, I should say. I like that deal. I like that combo. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, I still don't think it's enough to get them to the championship, but it's not like what Cleveland is going to get them to the championship. No. Philly, it was a good move by getting I can't think of his name right now. I'm looking dead at him. But my guy, they got golly, I can't think of his name. But either or, they
James
got
Harden last year. Or you're talking about
the forward they got this year. Got to wear the shoe. I can't. It's my mind drawing a blank. But either or, they got him. And the guy who played with Miami, he was with Miami. He played with Miami last year. And then
Jimmy Butler.
No, he played with Miami last year, and he won a championship with Milwaukee. I'm looking dead at him. But either or, they made that move. He's not a high profile name, but they made the moves that need to get done. But now I'm kind of jumping on the train. It ain't like Doc Rivers gonna lead them to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? So the teams that they need to worry about are the same teams that they worried about last year, which was Boston, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. Other than that, I don't see the problem. And then let's be real, even with Brooklyn, now I like the fact that they added Ben Simmons, but even with Brooklyn, the Hawks played them well last year, the year before last. Like, the Hawks beat them last year with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. They beat them 2 years ago with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. So, and you add DeJounte Murray now? So I don't see why they should be worried about the off-season moves. Again, I'm not saying the Hawks winning the finals or going to the finals, but all I'm saying is they made a big-time move as well. Yes, I like Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, but I mean, Jalen Brunson in New York, okay. What other off-season moves that Eastern Conference team made? I don't know. I don't get it.
With this, when it comes to, thinking about the offseason moves within the Eastern Conference, when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks, and they should be concerned, I disagree with this too. I'm out as well. In my opinion, I feel like the Atlanta Hawks had one of the best off seasons in the Eastern Conference. In the draft, they picked up a shooting guard named Marcus Erickson in the second round, 50th overall pick. They picked up, I can't say his name, but the power forward in the round 2 that they picked up, as well as another power forward, or they picked up 2 power forwards in round 2. You also acquired Tim Hardaway Jr. via trade with New York. That's the guy that you definitely acquired via trade. Paul Millsap you re-signed, and Justin Holiday was acquired via free agency. So when you put all that into perspective, the addition of Hardaway will certainly soften the blow of losing DeMar Carroll to Toronto, okay? But with Atlanta's success that they had with the chemistry last year, especially with the defense, Hardaway shouldn't really have a problem with filling the void in there with Carroll being gone, in my opinion. So when you put all that in perspective, I feel like Atlanta is going to build on this offseason move and potentially be a little bit better than they were last year. Do they still have some hurdles to overcome? Of course. Are they going to be the top teams of the NBA in Eastern Conference? I don't think so. I feel like they can be on the middle towards the bottom tier of those playoff teams and make it in, and still make some noise in the first, second round. But when it comes to the Hawks, it's going to be a while. There's still another big move or two away before we can really start putting them up there in the upper tier of the teams in the NBA, especially the Eastern Conference.
True. Who did Tim Hardaway get traded to?
Tim Hardaway came from New York.
And he got traded to who?
He came to the Hawks.
No, he with Dallas. When did that happen?
Tim Hardaway Jr. was traded from New York.
Yeah, he's been with Dallas for the last few years. I'm like, this is news. I'm feeling bad. Like I didn't put that up. Unless
I typed that in wrong or whatnot. But in my notes, I have him coming from New York, and they re-signed Millsap or whatnot. But I could be wrong. But that's what I found with my
no. Tim Hardaway. He's with Dallas Mavericks. I was about to like, whoa, like I need to hit somebody to put that up. We need to put that up on an update. But still, But what you were saying though, I mean, I just don't think that teams did enough. I don't think the teams did enough in the Eastern Conference as far as the moves. Like what other moves? I'm trying to think. I can't think of any right now. No, it was just the Hawks, Cleveland, the Knicks with Jalen Brunson. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything else? Because other than that, I don't. To go with the question, I don't believe that the Hawks should be worried about anybody else that came in the East this offseason. Again, I like what the Hawks did, and the good thing about the Hawks is with DeJounte and with Trey and John Collins, they seem to get along. They played in the offseason game. They went to the Drew League and played and looked good. So throwing alley-oops to each other, laughing, dapping each other up. DeJounte said in the offseason that the reason why he came, Trey called him. They talked. Trey wanted him here. So to get that and to have that chemistry already being built, not on the court, but off the court, to have that friendship, to have that trust. And like I said, include John Collins too, they all feel like that. Then yes, if your star players get along with this guy, the whole team will follow. And again, I love Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is a beast, but Donovan Mitchell doesn't play defense. Donovan Mitchell is not going to get everybody involved. He's going to score. Yeah.
They traded all of Cleveland to get him too. So when it comes to getting Donovan Mitchell in there. So, yeah, I that's not going to make big noise when it comes to the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't be really worried about them or concerned.
No.
So, but yeah, my bad on the I fact checked wrong on that one. I was wrong on that. Thanks for having my back on that.
No problem, man. I just thought I missed breaking news that happened today. I'm like, wait, what?
That's when you know I was going a little bit too fast, everything that's going on, but my bad. Thanks for having my back on that one. With that, guys, we've gone through all of the topics here on the In or Out Sports Debate. We do have a couple things left to cover before we get on out of here. And next, let's go ahead and see what comments we had on our way on out. We only have a few comments towards the end, but thank you guys for throwing them in. John Kimball says, roll Tide, throws that in there. Then he says, when Derek comes back in with, nobody cares about the WNBA. I mean, yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say nobody. But
yeah, I don't know what context he meant it by, but I mean, sadly to say, it's sad to say, but that's the way people think. And if that's the way people think and you're not getting support, why would I stay here and just play? So it's sad, but that's what it is.
If the WNBA could channel all of this hostility that they would have towards you and put it into one person, this is how you would be attacked.
Looks like Boucher knocked him out cold.
Message to all internet trolls. Do not mess with us. Take it back, Derek. Nobody cares about the WNBA. This is what we got to say about that. So come on, man. Don't be coming up in here trying to rain on our parade there, Derek. And then one last comment that we have from John Kimball. Hawks made big moves.
Yeah,
so,
they did.
So according to Kimball, he feels like that the moves that the Hawks made can definitely take them into another tier and into the game of basketball.
Hey, I got something to say. I just wonder, after everything that happened, I'm trying to think what happened in the Western. Even with my guy going from Utah to Minnesota, Rudy Gobert.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder still if the Hawks made the biggest move of the offseason. And I think they did. I like that Rudy Gobert move. Like I said, I like Donovan Mitchell coming to the East, going to Cleveland with that team. But the prize possession was DeJounte. I mean, if everybody knew he was available like that, or forget that, it was a lot of people. Well, we knew San Antonio wanted to trade him, but as a matter of fact, it was a lot of teams within that was trying to talk, said they wanted him and everything. But you got to say he was the biggest move in the offseason.
I feel like somebody's going to come down, and at some point, when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to hire Vince McMahon just to come into the GM's office and say this eventually.
You're fired.
Because you just traded your whole team for one guy who's 26 years old, yes. However, you traded all of Cleveland. Colin Sexton, who was supposed to be the next big thing when LeBron left and went to L.A., they just traded him and Markkanen and 3 picks, plus 2 pick swaps for one guy. So, yes, that's why I feel like Vince McMahon is going to be getting a side job at some point just to go to different franchise and say, you're fired. And that's what's going to happen, says with John Kimball with the big moves of the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to start the tiers of all that happening. So, with that being said, guys, that's the comments that we have at the end of the show. With Nat, let's go ahead and take it into the next segment, which is we have to acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
We now have to acknowledge that Controversy Raphael is now locked in the vault with everyone else here with episode 48. He is now a part of the crew here for 48 episodes here on the In or Out Sports Debate. Guys, don't forget about next week. We have episode 49 on Monday, followed by the monumental episode 50 with Kyle Nash of the three-point conversion as well. You can check out the In or Out Sports Debate on Mondays on the Legacy Maker Sports Network platforms with these listed right here below: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, coming soon on TikTok. And you can check out everything on LegacyMakerSports.com. Here are the In or Out Sports Debate platforms as well on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can also download on iTunes. We are again here with episode 48 with Controversy Raphael himself. We only have one last thing to acknowledge, and that is the final word. Now, out of everything we've talked about, out of all the topics we've talked about on this show, out of everything in sports in general, this is our time where we take a minute or so and discuss how we feel at the final word. Before that, let me give you a little bit of extra motivation from Legacy on Fire's episode 35 via Kyle Nash.
No, listen, gentlemen, an honor, joy, and privilege. And hey, by the way, this is a good opportunity to talk trash on Controversy Raphael, who once said Mitchell Trubisky was a better quarterback than Jimmy G.
Ooh.
So,
would you like to explain that, sir?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I would. Give Mitch, Deebo Samuels, give Mitch a great coach. Give Mitch talent. Give Mitch all of that and tell him don't look over his shoulders. That's all I got to say. Well, hey, I'll say this. I love Jimmy G, though. Jimmy G's a warrior. But let's see now, because who plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Who has talent? Who has wide receivers? Who has a better line? All Jimmy G did was hand off the ball until it came to playoff, and he made big plays. That didn't happen with Mitch. Mitch didn't get that luxury. Mitch didn't have a luxury of playing with the quarterback. So, with a quarterback's coach. We had Matt Nagy. Come on. One more thing. And you know what Mitch didn't have? Or Jimmy G didn't have? A coach that decides to kick a field goal, a 64-yard field goal with a superstar quarterback that they just paid $250 million, and it was 4th and 5 with 50-something seconds, 53 seconds left with 3 timeouts. And you kick a 64-yard field goal and you're not a mile high? So I want to know, did Mr. Hackett, who came from the Packers, who I hate already, but Mr. Hackett, I want to know if Nathaniel Hackett had Seattle's defense in his fantasy league, and that's why the offense just didn't play well. I don't know. That's all I got to say.
So I'm going to kind of piggyback with your final word with that. I was going to talk about the Denver Broncos as well, because that was completely ridiculous when you've got the Russell Wilson that you picked up in that trade, and you picked him up, and now you've got a 5-year deal with him for $242 million. He threw for nearly 350 yards last night. He had a touchdown, didn't turn the ball over, didn't throw any interceptions against a guy in Geno Smith who didn't even have 200 yards passing, had 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Granted, Geno only had 5 incompletions and protected the ball. Looked very well considering old Geno Smith that we know from back in the day in New York and all the debacle that we've seen with Geno. It was great to see what he did in that game. However, he didn't earn that victory. It was more of a bad coaching mistake, like you said, by Nathaniel Hackett, than it was a victory by the Seattle Seahawks. It was terrible to see that when it comes to that point. But there's another team this weekend besides that loss that I have to actually give some hard love to. And this was the tie that we saw with the Colts and the Texans, the 20-20 tie. You talked all that smack, Jim Irsay, about Carson Wentz. Well, Carson Wentz drank his milk during the offseason, and his ankles held up in that game. He threw for 4 touchdowns, even though it was against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he threw 2 interceptions. And the game was closer than it should have been. However, he still threw 4 touchdowns. He did more than any Washington quarterback we've seen in years since Kirk Cousins left. So that's 1. 2, you got Carson Wentz out of there for the Colts, right? You bring in Matt Ryan. You traded for Matt Ryan, and when you did it for essentially a 3rd-round pick. So it wasn't too much, but you bring him in, and there's all this hype during the offseason. Oh, he's so much better than Carson Wentz. Oh, we're going to go so much further. Well, you just played a team that's been going through the debacle with the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson for the past couple of years. You didn't even play last year. You got some guy it looks like you picked up at Home Depot named Davis Mills, who was in there buying lumber to build a house. And now he's buying it, and now he's playing quarterback for the Houston Texans and got 20 points. Where did those 20 points come from? I tell you why. Mismanagement by the Colts and giving too many opportunities to a team that should be either ranked 30th, 31st, or 32nd in the league in the Houston Texans. What are you doing, Colts? How did you even, 1, lose the lead, and 2, even tie against a team, which is still not nearly as bad as a loss? However, it's bad enough. And that's my final word going into it with the Indianapolis Colts.
I just want to add one thing. You know who? Matt Ryan played well. Carson Wentz played well last year. I mean, big games, he didn't. I mean, that game against Jacksonville, the last 2 games, they didn't win. But I don't think it's the quarterbacks. I don't even think it's Jim Irsay. But nobody wants to say it. It's Frank Wright. We love Frank Wright. I don't think Frank Wright is that coach for that team. They love him. They need a mean street guy.
If
they need somebody
to make the playoffs this year, he's gone.
He needs to be. Yeah. I love Frank Wright as a person, but I don't think he's the coach to take that team. And like I said it before, you look at what they did last year. You look at Carson Wentz stats. He didn't play bad at all. I think he threw like 7 or 8 interceptions. That's it. Maybe 7, I think. But in this game 1. Let's see what happens. Only game 1, week 1. But still, I just think that it might be Frank Wright. That's all I'm saying. It might be. Nobody won't say it because he's a good guy, lovable guy. But it might be Frank Wright.
Before we get out of here, we do have some last-minute comments. Paul Schofield says, rookie coaching mistake. 4th and 5, he's going to get you that first down, he says. In defense, Matt Ryan is better than Carson Wentz. And I'm a Davis Mills fan, and I hope he does well.
I'm rooting for Lovey. Hey, I'm rooting for Lovey, Paul. I'm with you. I'm rooting for Lovey Smith. The Bears did him wrong.
With that, guys, we've had a great episode here for episode 48. Controversy Raphael here from the 3-point conversion. Thank you again, brother, for taking the time spending here with me tonight on the In or Out Sports Debate. Lastly, guys, again, you can check him out again on the 3-point conversion on all major platforms as well. Definitely check them out. They have a lot of great coverage within the Atlanta and surrounding areas as well. Definitely check them out. With that being said, again, for Controversy Raphael, I am Drew Willingham. Again, everyone, stay safe out there in these streets with everything going on.